Hello, everyone. I hope you are watching my podcast, which is a weekly podcast called Light Up with Shua. I have a very special guest today. I think I never get nervous, but I'm very happy and excited and nervous. Am I? No, I don't think so. But I am very excited actually and very happy to have my dear friend Rebecca with me today. And she will introduce herself actually, but there's a long list of achievements she has and all. And you can see all the details in our show notes. Rebecca, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Shua. No need to be nervous hanging out with a friend. I'm so delighted to have you in my life too. You've just completely enriched it.
Thank you.
So today we're going to be two moms talking, right? Two moms. So
yes.
Shua was nice enough to invite me to talk with you all about my business, which is called Sprouting Healthy Families. And I opened my doors in January, and I'm a parent coach for people who are raising their children on the spectrum. So they have their own set of challenges that they face, quite a bit different from the typical parent. So I'm trying to offer them some resilience, some perspective taking, helping them find their intuition, and giving them the courage to know that they know what to do with their child. They're really the best guide.
Exactly. And her full name is Rebecca Jefferys. I don't know if the screen is showing that. And Rebecca, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to Sprouting Healthy Families?
Healthy Families,
yes.
Sure. I have a son who is on the spectrum. He's 21, and he was just diagnosed last year. But we have been living with pretty classic autism symptoms since he was 3. So we had sensory issues, we had lots of anxiety, we had insomnia, we had fixations on ideas, circular thinking, food allergies. It was pretty textbook. But every time he would go to get his analysis done, the doctor would say, well, I'm not seeing autism like 100%. He wanted to check off every single box before he would say it was autism. So it wasn't until last summer when we went to a different place that the labeling had changed a little bit. And this doctor seemed to have a little bit more insightfulness when it came to really seeing and identifying autism in a young adult. And so she's like, yeah, he's been struggling with this. That's what it's been, all these years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is, so how did you feel about that? How did you cope with that?
The diagnosis?
The diagnosis, first I want to go with that and then.
Relief, because all these years we're like, how do we explain him to people? He's behaving oddly. He's not like a normal child. And it's so much easier to just say to somebody, oh, he's struggling with autism, because most people have a basic understanding of what that is. But before, I didn't really have the words to define him for people. So there was a lot of confusion.
So when you say define to people, it means that do you get too many questions, people asking you, or is it your own discomfort or uncomfortable?
It's all of the above.
Yourself as a parent, I can understand that. Even if our child is, I think everybody is on a spectrum, but some are more or less. And your challenges, I will talk that shortly, but this is one of the challenges as well, to feel uncomfortable and how to explain to others. And also, is it so all of the above, which one was more is it your own uncomfortable position that, I am a parent, but my child is on spectrum and look at these people? Is that your comparison, or is it people also being not very empathetic?
I actually coach my parents to make a decision about that. So, a typical parent a kid can throw a tantrum anywhere, right? And it could be a discipline issue for a typical kid, and it could be an actual neurological meltdown for the autistic kid, where he or she has no control of what their system is doing right then. So the parent can assign embarrassment to that moment and, drag the kid out of the store like this, or they could ask for help, or they could just, attend to that moment, because they're really their nurse in so many ways. Attend to that moment and help them get through it. And if other people are judging them, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Their judgment does not matter for anything.
But you to come to this point, I want to, because this is a journey. I don't want it
Yes.
to sound as if it's a quick fix. I don't want it to sound as, because you have been through it. I haven't been through what you go through. I have my own other challenges of different kind of, challenges. But this is a very, very difficult. I was thinking about you. To have this challenge of, first is a social challenge, right? Socially
Yes.
awkwardness for the
Yes.
parents, for the child also. I'm sure
Yes.
he was feeling. What was his feeling? When did you socialize?
We did.
Okay.
He couldn't socialize like the normal kid. He could play by himself all day long and not notice that there were other kids around him,
Okay.
and he'd be happy. He eventually found two really good friends who accepted him for all of his oddness, and they made a great trio. They were fantastic.
Oh, wonderful.
But then they went to different schools, so their lives kind of separated,
Oh, okay.
and we started homeschooling, and then my husband and I became his social life, which was hard for him. And so he was feeling a little bit ostracized then. So that's when he advocated for himself in 7th grade and said, I really want to go back to school.
Oh, nice.
So
Okay.
we did. And he met some nice boys there, and he's still in contact with them. He talks to those boys every day. They get on the computer and they either game or they just keep Discord open and they just gab.
Oh, nice. So are they autistic as well?
One of them is.
Okay.
But most of them are just typical young
Okay.
men.
So which is very nice.
Yeah.
Because I thought maybe if you are autistic, maybe then you can relate to one another. But if it's a mix, it's a good
the
sign.
mix is really beautiful. Yeah.
That's very nice. Must be good boys, those who are.
They are.
Yeah, they must.
So you asked me about how I reacted to the
Yes,
diagnosis.
yes.
When JJ heard the diagnosis, he ran up to his room and got on Discord and said to his friends, guys, I finally know what's wrong with me. And they said, yeah. And he said, I have autism. And they said, we already knew that.
Exactly. Yeah. See, that's where my doctor thing and medical thing comes well, which I'll keep it away for today. But yeah, that's okay. So he was relieved too to have a label. So it is good to have a label. I thought it's not good to have labels, but I guess it depends, right?
It depends. It so depends. Like when he went to public school, they really wanted that label because that would get them money to provide services.
Okay. Which is a good thing. So then they know what to deal with, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
From that angle, yeah.
Right. But, as you mentioned, autism is a huge spectrum too.
Yes, exactly.
Because, some people, they enjoy the title because it gives clarity to those around them for their social life. And others feel like it's such a judgment call that they don't really want to be connected to it. Yeah.
So you both are on the same page with him, with your son, and since you have been, he has been diagnosed, you both are better equipped now. Is that how you feel?
Well,
or maybe you were already equipped?
I think we were all pretty well equipped before because we kind of proceeded as if he had autism because we were treating the symptoms. Okay. So even though we didn't have the title, we had the services.
Okay. So would you say here, I want to ask you as a parent and as a person actually who has seen all this, and as a mother, as a parent, what do you think that you knew what it was, right? You did you really, why would you need a doctor to tell you when you kind of had
That's
that
a great
list?
question. You don't have to have a doctor tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, those symptoms are so readily, you can do a checklist.
That's right. So you were researching, right? You were researching, you were doing everything, all this life, since he has been, he's 20, what you said, 22?
21 now.
21.
So actually, to hear the doctor say he didn't have autism, we went to Children's for the first checkup, and she said he didn't have it, and then 2 neuropsych evals after that, and they said he didn't have it. Always was like, what? Kind of confusing.
But a conscious mother, you have it here with Rebecca, who has been struggling with her challenges and trying the best for her son, right? And dealing with the nerves. This must be nerve-wracking at times.
Yes.
Right? It's not easy. It's not. It's very difficult.
Yes.
But how did you get out of that also? So we can help people understand that this is a conscious mother. She dealt with this child on the spectrum and who has been finally diagnosed with from the doctor last year, not
Mm.
from the doctor, but from the doctor last year as an autistic child. Now, that is helpful in which
In what
areas?
ways for
Yes,
me?
yeah.
Just I think it goes the same with any disease in that once you have a name for it, the recovery seems easier somehow.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Especially for the social, for the school, for people who have to
Yeah,
deal with him.
it's
Although
the
you knew
clarity.
it, right? It's the clarity of dealing
Hmm.
with that because it is not simple. So I would invite our viewers and listeners to learn about this. What would you say? This a state, a child who is on spectrum. Anybody can be. How do you identify autism as a what is it like
It's a
autism?
disorder. It's a
Yeah,
neurological
that's what I was
disorder.
going to say. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it's a disorder. So we need whether we have immediately you if you think you don't have anybody in the family, that
You
doesn't
might.
keep that doesn't mean that you have no, you don't have any responsibility to know about this disorder because
Right.
knowing it can help us being more conscious around other people and their
Right.
children so we are
Right.
not so harsh and
Hmm.
hurtful to other parents maybe, right?
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Which, gives me actually a great window to introduce my class
Yes,
I've got
please,
coming up
please.
on February 28th. It is called Confusion to Clarity, and I'm co-teaching this class with a pediatric physical therapist, and we'll be explaining the neurological sensations behind a lot of the behaviors you might see in your autistic child. And most of those behaviors are a way for them to communicate with you. So, because they may not be able to find the words, they might be showing an emotion that doesn't match what their problem really is. So we'll be exploring those ways in which they communicate. The class is open to teachers and parents and caregivers and grandparents, anyone who wants to learn more for some child that they may love or have to work with. We'll be helping with that. You can find out more about the class on my website, www.sproutinghealthyfamilies.com.
Okay, I'll put that in my show notes as well. So I'm going to share your class
Beautiful.
and your podcast is all about this also. So people, she has a
Good.
podcast too. So tell me about your podcast a little bit.
Yeah. My podcast is called The Caretakers with Rebecca Jefferys, and I interview people who make the world a better place. So I have had Shua on there, and she will be on again. I've had healers and doctors and practitioners and nonprofit leaders,
What about moms?
moms. And tomorrow, actually, I have a nice interview with a mom,
Okay.
an autism mom,
Yes.
who is also an author. So that will
Oh,
be up tomorrow.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice, very nice, very nice. So you talked about your class, and anything else related to this sprouting healthy families? I think you coach also.
Yes, I do individual coaching. So if you're really struggling and want some specific help, I can help you out with that. And
Yeah.
there's no minimum number of visits. You can drop in once, you can drop in 10 times, and we'll try to do some problem solving. We'll try to help you be more emotionally settled, because when we're settled, we can find the answers more easily for ourselves. So that's my goal for my class.
So how did you settle yourself?
Oh, it wasn't easy. It was a lot of reading, a lot of spiritual exploration, starting to finally understand that I had to set time aside to refuel myself.
For yourself, not for not. So you're dealing mostly with your son, and then to take out time for yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
So important. And as you know, I returned back to horseback riding a few
No, I
years back.
didn't know that.
And
No,
yeah,
you returned back.
in
Okay,
my
okay.
40s, I hadn't ridden
Okay,
since I was a
that's
kid.
when I know. Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Right? So that ended up being my spiritual place for me. It was my place to have a singleness of focus and to not have my worries about my child in my head. And I would come out of there ready to go for 10 more days to be a mom because I was so energized.
So that was a therapy for you.
Yes.
Okay, so that's
Very
where we connect also in
Mm-hmm.
horses,
Mm-hmm.
music.
Yep.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
Yes, wonderful. And her son loves my cooking, so I'm
Yes.
gonna brag about that a little bit.
She should. She's a
Yeah,
fabulous cook.
thank you. Okay, so that's good. Anything else we need to talk about before?
I think we're all set.
Yeah,
If you check out my website, there's a blog on there as well, so you can get a feel for my parenting and coaching style.
yeah,
And I've also got some videos on YouTube, so just
yeah.
poke around.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
So, just so this is our first episode with Rebecca, and on this topic, this is conscious living and parenting. But with, as I had mentioned, that I will be talking more about people and situations, disorders, mental health issues. This whole beginning of this year, so I'm doing that, and thank you for Rebecca to be here and sharing her thoughts and her work. I hope this can be helpful for all those people who are listening or watching. Please connect to her. She is amazing. She will, if there is somebody from Pakistan wants to connect with her, if there is a language barrier, which usually people can get by with basic English, I can help with that. Rebecca, if somebody connects with you and speaks Urdu and Arabic, let me know. And I'll let everybody know. So thank you very much for listening and watching Light Up with Shua with Rebecca Jefferys today. And she will be my frequent guest, by the way. So we will let you know what we are bringing in next few weeks and months.
Yes.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you.